sunshiny day. Even when the clouds are gray, it's a brand new day. Just smile and say everything's gonna be okay. With puppets and popsicles, with puppets and popsicles.
This is a Penelope Popsicles remix.
Not quite what I was thinking of, but it'll work.
Now, if you don't know your ABCs, I'm the one to help you. But first, you gotta do something for me. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. Yeah, all right. Hands up, put your hands up. I think you're ready. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs, but do you? And if you do, I want to hear you. Ready? A little louder now. Maybe I can't hear you. Need a little more out of you. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. You are now hip to Penelope Popsicles remix. Now, let's do it in Spanish.
Welcome to the Griot's Vault. I am Tato. Would you care for some tea? Now, each story has its own texture, its own nuances, and its own rhythm, as it is told by the teller or the troubadour. It has its own soul as shared by the storyteller, and many of these stories are kept with me, Tato, here inside my vault. Let's look inside my vault and see what stories await us. The Flower and the Ant. One hot summer day, there was a flower. This poor flower was hot and dry. There was no water in sight, and the flower's roots were shallow, too shallow to reach the underground water. So the flower decided to ask for help. She looked high and low and saw no one, only a tiny ant. So she cried out, "I wish someone strong and quick could come and give me some water. My roots are too shallow to reach the water underground." The flower sighed, but resting in the shade was an ant. The ant said, "I can get you some water. I'm strong and quick." But the flower did not hear the ant because she was too tiny. Along came Mr. Bumblebee. The flower quickly asked, "Hey, Mr. Bumblebee, can you get me some water? My roots are too shallow to reach the water underground, and you're strong and quick." But before the flower could finish, Mr. Bumblebee was off. He could not help. But the tiny ant heard the flower and pushed a stick close to the flower and climbed on the stick and yelled, "I can help you get some water. I'm strong and quick, and you provide me shade when I really need it." But the flower did not hear. The ant was just still too tiny. But then a great hawk flew from the air. "Miss Hawk, could you get me some water? My roots are too shallow to reach the water underground. You're strong and quick." But before the flower could finish asking Miss Hawk for her help, she flew off. The flower was too tiny for the hawk to hear. But the tiny ant heard the flower and pushed a rock close to the flower and climbed as high as it could on the rock and yelled, "I can get you some water. I'm strong and quick, and you have provided me shade when I really needed it." But the flower did not hear the ant because she was still too tiny. By this time, the flower was in desperate need of water. Her petals were drooping, her leaves were withering, but something amazing happened to the flower's roots. It began to feel the cool sensation of water rushing past. The flower's petals straightened up and stood strong. Her wilting leaves began to fill with water, and then she noticed a tiny ant coming out of a hole just beside the flower, hot and covered in dirt. And then the flower knew what happened, and how much someone so little and overlooked could mean. And the ant waved and sat down in the shade of the flower's petals. And the flower stretched her petals to provide as much shade as she could for the ant. And they were friends forever.